For this workout, you'll need a set of dumbbells you can safely press overhead. The A block is going to start with a bent row, a thruster, and a ball extend. In a staggered stance, you're going to do bent rows on just one side. You want to have the opposite leg forward from the side that's working. You want most of your weight to be on that front foot, back to be nice and flat, and you're pulling the dumbbell up toward your rib cage, the elbows going up toward the ceiling, trying to keep the body nice and still. Switching sides for the bent row, opposite leg forward, back is nice and flat so the hips kick back, keeping the core tucked in nice and tight, and you're lifting the elbow toward the ceiling. Moving on to a single arm transverse thruster, you're going to have a dumbbell on one shoulder, feet separated for a squat. You're going to squat down, pivot, and press. Keeping the shoulders nice and tall on the squat, dropping the hips down low with control, and then pivoting to the opposite side of where you're holding your dumbbell, pressing up nice and high. You want to line up your arm with your ear, keeping that core nice and tight, pressing straight up to the ceiling, big extension. Switching sides on the single arm thruster. Next is your ball extend. You'll lie on your mat on your back, pulling the knees in nice and tight, giving yourself a big hug. You're going to keep your back pressed into the floor and then extend the arms and the legs and then pull back into a ball. Round 2 of your bent row. Switching sides. Moving on to round 2 of your single arm thruster with a pivot. Switching sides on that thruster. Getting down on the mat for a second round of ball extend. Come on up for your last round of bent rows. Switching sides. Moving on to your final set of single arm thruster. Switching sides for your final set of single arm thruster. Moving on to your mat for your last set of ball extend. We're now moving on to B block, which is chest press, pull over, and Frogger. First up is your chest press. You're going to lie on the floor with your legs bent, starting with the dumbbell straight up in front of your chest. Carefully bring one of the dumbbells to the floor and grab the other dumbbell with both hands for your pullover, making sure to keep your back pressed into the floor as you reach your arms overhead. For your Frogger, you'll take that same dumbbell and place it right on your hips. Bring the soles of your feet together, splay out the knees, and you'll go into a Frogger bridge. Here you want to make sure that the soles of your feet stay together and that the knees stay splayed out and that you're lifting with your glutes and not your back. So think about lifting the pelvis, not so much the spine. You can now sit up and grab your second dumbbell. We're moving on to the second round of dumbbell chest presses. Bring one of those dumbbells to the floor and grab the other one with both hands for your pullover, making sure to keep your back pressed into the floor the entire time. Now place that dumbbell on your hips, bottoms of your feet together, splaying out the knees. We're going on to our second set of Frogger. Moving on to round 3 of your chest press. Putting one of the dumbbells down, grabbing the other one with both hands, pressing the back into the floor and getting ready for your third set of pullovers. Bringing the dumbbell to the hips, bottom of the feet together, knees splayed out. Last set of froggers. C block has just 2 exercises, renegade rows and loaded squats. First up are renegade rows. You're going to take one dumbbell, place it between your hands, and start in a nice tall plank. And it helps to have the hands very close to that dumbbell, so when you lift one, you're like a tripod. The goal here is to keep the hips from swaying side to side. You're going to push the floor away as you lift the dumbbell with the other hand, and you want to offset your weight through your toes as well, keeping the hips down, core nice and strong. Just take your time in pulling your elbow up nice and high toward the ceiling. Remember pushing the floor away as you're pulling the dumbbell up. Next is loaded squats. You're going to bring the dumbbell between the feet out nice and wide for a sumo squat. You're going to squat down, grab the dumbbell, bring it back down to the floor, and give me a jump before you switch hands. You want to make sure you're keeping your shoulders tall and that you're dropping your hips down low enough to reach that dumbbell. Come up nice and tall, squeezing the glutes at the top, posture tall, and then when you squat down, you're going to jump and land back in a squat to pick up that dumbbell again. Take your time. Now for your second round of renegade rows. Come on up for your loaded squats. Final set of Renegade rows. And now you're on your final set of loaded squats. You got this. Nicely done. Your workout is complete.